Why an ISA? Like, what was the need that you wanted to fill?
Yeah, I think I recognized an opportunity. How are we going to get in front of these people? It was really just two ways. That's either postal mail or making calls. I needed a team to leverage to be able to make that kind of volume of calls so that I could run the business, grow it, scale it, and service it. I would label it as a success.
I wonder if an ISA can work for me. What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I would say if you're confident in what your approach is, you need to go for it.
All right, folks, we're back here and we have got a great one for you today. We've got Nathan Gaylord here to talk to you about his experience with Power ISA. But first things first, Nathan, why don't you give folks listening to this a little bit of background, kind of who you are, what's your business like, where you are, and how long you've been in real estate. Start there.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for about 18 years now. I've been in the Florida market for 12 years. I'm in the greater Tampa Bay, Southwest Florida area. So Tampa is our North Territory all the way down to Naples. That's the area that we covered. And we're a little bit different. We aren't a traditional real estate brokerage that does sales transactions. We actually specialize in leasing and property management for residential properties. So probably a little bit of a different type of conversation today.
Yeah, 100%. It's all real estate at the end of the day, but you're right. A little bit of a different target, right? So,
Yeah.
Coming at it from the kind of the property management, angle, why an ISA? Like, what kind of, what drove you to that as an option? What was that process like? Because, like you said, not a lot of property managers build teams, like large teams, and
Right.
bring on staff. So what was kind of driving you? What was the need that you wanted to fill?
Yeah, I think I recognize an opportunity. I have a little bit of experience in the commercial industry doing brokerage sales, and that's the approach that the commercial industry takes. Quite frankly, they don't really, I guess, rely on a sphere of influence to get started.
Yeah,
They actually go hunt, right? And so they put together
yeah,
a database. They identify properties that qualify for their type of vertical or their type of specialty, and then they reach out to connect with those particular owners and start to build a relationship to hopefully line up transactions with them in the future, and present themselves as the expert. So I saw that in the commercial industry. I thought, immediately, hey, this could be something that we could use in the property management industry. I kind of wanted to take more of an approach of going after what we want and what we've identified qualifies as what we want in our rental portfolio, as opposed to, hey, let me put a good website out, maximize SEO, and wait for people to call me. We were able to. We have a tech background, right, in how we run operations, and I think that gives us an advantage in our particular industry. So, long story short, we were able to put together a database of local municipal data, and we were able to identify, about 50,000 properties that appeared to be rental properties and qualified on a variety of metrics. And so we said, hey, how are we going to get in front of these people? And the way I saw it was really just two ways. That's either postal mail or making calls. And so I needed a team to leverage to be able to make that kind of volume of calls. I needed a team that was able to do it, all day, basically, that needed to be a primary position, so that I could run the business, grow it, scale it, and service it, right? And so that's what led me to Power ISA. So it was the strategy, the approach, and then we had to put the action behind it to get the proof of concept. And I think that we've done that successfully.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, definitely. And I think you're really right, Nathan. I think if you're coming from the commercial side of real estate, it's a different ballgame. On residential,
Yeah.
I think it's like 80 to 90% of people get the deals from their sphere, like sphere, friends, family, people that they know, like, and
Right.
trust already. And on commercial and, anything, it's complete opposite, right? Like
Right.
90%, you gotta like prospect, you gotta go meet people, it's people you don't know, unmet people
Right.
in the sphere. So the approach, it's like investors too, right? Investors don't
Yeah.
get homes from their family or their
That's
friends.
right.
Nope.
That's right.
Investors go out and they got to go hunt, they got to go prospect, they got to go figure things out because
Yeah.
whoever the owner is someone you don't know, right? So the
That's it.
investors and commercial, this is how they cut their teeth. prospecting and finding and knocking on doors and sending mailers and making calls. That's it. There's really no other way, or paying for ads, whatever it is, right? There's no
Yeah.
other way to make it rain than to go out and hunt. So yeah, completely different perspective. And I love that project. That's a really interesting
Well,
way to do it, right? Instead of kind
yeah.
of figuring this out, you proactively say, hey, there's only 50,000 people we can work with, in this area. Why don't we talk to them first? Like reach out first and kind of see what happens. So I
Right.
love that. So you kind of got that idea, let's reach out. Phone calls is a great way. We got these folks' information. What happened next? Like what you thought of, Power SA was a good option. What was the experience, working with the company? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, I had a great experience working with the company. Chris, who was my lead contact or my initial contact, that presented kind of the value of Power ISA, what I could expect in the process, and really, listen to what I was trying to achieve to figure out if we were a good fit, which I appreciated because he wasn't just trying to sign me up. As you just acknowledged, I was coming at it from a different angle. And he said, I don't know that we've worked with a property manager before, but let me talk to some of my team and see if that's something that we think you could be successful with. And he came back and said, yeah, I think, as long as you got the database, the contact information, the scripts and that kind of stuff, we can, of course we'll help you. The coach will help you, but we need some guidance in that regard because it's a little different than what we've done. But conceptually, we're able to probably do that because it's prospecting at the end of the day, and that's what we do best. And so that was a great conversation with him, and I ended up signing up on I think it was our second phone call. I felt that, hey, this is going to work. Let's give it a shot. So that was a great experience. Ava, who was the account manager, was really patient with me in finding the right ISA. We had to go through a couple of them to find the right fit, get somebody that really understood what we were doing. Coincidentally, the ISA that we ultimately had the most success with had a background in property management.
Oh
Coincidentally,
wow,
so yeah, so
that's
it was
wild.
the learning curve wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be, right, for him.
Nice.
And I think that's probably why we moved a little quicker with him, and that's probably where he got some of his confidence from. Which translated into successful accounts, right, and closing deals. So that was great as well. And then Alonzo was our coach. I know that he would frequently meet with our ISA, give them some coaching tips. He would send me reports and metrics on where we were with things with the campaign, and then he was very open to ideas that I had as well as far as scripts and verbiage and how to kind of structure the conversation and break the ice because it was a little different. And so I gave him feedback on that, and he kind of made it his own and did what he does best, which is coaching the ISAs. So I know that had a positive impact with our experience as well. But yeah, overall it was good, and we were successful. Um, we were fairly profitable with the campaign, so it was
Love it.
good.
Love it. Absolutely. And that's great to hear, because it's a great team. Alonso, cut his teeth cold. He's a cold caller, hardcore
Yeah.
cold caller, been managing cold calling teams for a long time. So, it's the kind of people we want on these kinds of projects, right? So I definitely love that. Great one, great
Yeah.
one. And Nathan, what were like, tangible results for you guys, right? Did you got to speak to more sellers? Did you get to meet with potential clients? What was the outcome? Because in this kind of project, ISA is going out there looking for potential, owners of properties,
Yeah.
or not sellers, right? They're not selling,
Right.
but they're owners, right? That
Right.
might want to, get some help, renting that property out. Like,
Yeah.
was there, good conversations happening? Was there good people in the database? How would you measure the outcome of something like this?
Yeah. It was our first one, so understand that. But it was successful in being our first one, and in fact,
Love it.
literally, I'm in the car right now. I just signed up an account about an
Love it.
hour ago. I'm leaving that appointment, but to answer your question, the conversations were good. We took two different approaches because it's property management. One
Yeah.
would be like your for rent by owners, right, which is
Yeah.
kind of like your for sale by owners. So of
Yeah.
course we're calling them pitching services to be their leasing company, and then we called properties that we thought were current rentals that the nature of property management and rental property is somebody's doing the property management. It's either the owner or it's a company, right? So
Yeah.
our services are needed. It's just a matter of do they see the value in switching to us? Whereas sales is a timing thing, right? Is it the time for you to sell, right? Type of deal. And so anyways, my point to all that is we had those two different kind of conversations. One was, hey, can we help you lease it? Here's our value. The other is, hey, how's your property management going? Are you looking maybe to improve that experience, right? Whether you're doing it yourself or you have a management company. And those conversations were good. The market's softened a little bit right now. So I think that to our benefit, property owners who maybe have done it themselves for the past 4 or 5 years are starting to realize that there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
You can't just post it online and rent it in 3 days, right? And so I think that that played to our favor as well, but it gave us an opportunity to present our value because they were really listening because they want to get it rented and it's not renting as fast as it used to. So yeah, overall, I mean, we brought on a handful of accounts during the 3 month campaign, and I would label it as a success.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Nathan, thanks so much. One last question for you.
Yeah,
If someone, is watching this and they've got an idea about what they want, but it's like you said, a little bit outside the box, not the typical residential, real estate project, and they're thinking about bringing on an ISA, what would you say to someone that's
yeah.
kind of on the fence saying, oh, I don't fit the typical mold. I wonder if an ISA can work for me. What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I would say if you're confident in what your approach is, you need to go for it because the only way to get proof of concept is to try it and to do it and to see it through. Without that feedback, you don't know, and it's always going to be a guessing game. And I'll tell you right now, the longer you wait, the more regret you'll have, and that doesn't go away. So I would say, if you're confident in it, map it out, have a plan, execute. And then figure out what the feedback is. That's what I would say, and that's what I've done, and I'll continue to do that with Power ISA.
I love it. Awesome, Nathan. Thanks so much. I know you're a busy guy coming from an appointment right now. Close the deal. Love it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you.